Hello, salam, shalom, namaste, sasrikal, aloha, hola, ciao, bonjour, buna, привет, mabuhay, and jean dobre. I'm so happy to be with you all, and I know you will be very happy you've joined us today because you have a very cool guest with us, and that is Christine, who is the expert authority coach. And I will ask Christine to tell us more about who she is and what she does in just a moment. But before that, welcome, Christine.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be, and it's been a little while, coming. So I'm very happy to be with you today. Thank you.
I'm so, so happy that you are here and we get to have our chat today. Please tell us more about who you are and what you do.
Yeah. So my name is Christine Blosdale, and I am the expert authority coach. And basically, I'm your best friend business coach that can help you get seen, get trusted, which is really important, and get paid for what you already know. All those genius things that you have, all that wisdom and the gifts that you have. My job is to make it easy for you to get out there and get noticed. And
I
so I,
love it.
yes, I've been very happy, very pleased that I have clients too all over the world that I get to help.
Yay, I love that. I love that. I will start by asking you a very basic question, actually. I noticed you are the expert authority coach, of course. Uh, is there a distinction for you between expert authority, or are those two things connected for you? Because I've seen people use even that language differently.
Yes. Well, and now authority is a very popular word that we see. It's really tapping into your authenticity as a
Mm.
creator, as a business owner, as a coach, whatever you are, and helping you get past the overwhelm. And so a lot of times we have really talented, gifted business owners who are shy or who have a lack of confidence in who they are. So they hold themselves back and they're worried about what people think if they post things on, social media, uh, if they ask for money. A lot of
Mm.
times, asking for a decent fee is like uncomfortable, and so I help them get over that uncomfortableness by tapping into their genius and finding the best route for them to go, the best platform for them to be on.
Yeah.
So expert authority is basically being confident in your abilities and your genius, and there is no arrogance, there's no ego attached to it. It's making sure that you show up and communicate with your target audience so that they can get the help that they need. We take the focus off of you for a second and we focus in on the people that you want to serve.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is such wise way to frame, I think. Like sometimes I remember when I first started coaching, training, this was back in 2012, I used to have a lot of this issue, this challenge of focusing on me and worrying about me and how I would be perceived and all of that. And it's just really challenging to be able to show up and serve, and you have the focus on yourself. And it was such a it's not just that it's challenging, but it's like from that perspective of like adding a layer of stress and this awkward consciousness that you develop, but also it just like really compromises your ability to help your clients, help the people you want to really help. So
Yeah.
to just shift the focus away from you and put it on those that you're going to serve. I love that. I love that.
Well, and especially since, we as women have been told for many generations that what what we want, what we desire, if it's, in out of life, family, or business, that's not important. First of all, you need to focus all your attention on your family or your spouse or your community, right? And not so much on you and what you want. You need to focus on what other people want and need. And the problem is that with that is that there's so much amazing things that women can do that it limits us. And so it keeps us in a situation where we're not able to give our gifts to the world. And that's a shame. And that's something that we need to change, because I think we need more love. We need more light. We need more understanding in the world right now, especially now more than ever. And so my job is to help people feel comfortable and confident in themselves so that they can show up to help their clients, to help their community and their
Yeah.
families in general, you know?
Yes. That is so true. So it's like on the one hand, we need to feel confident and comfortable in ourselves. And at the same time, what that really is, I mean, it's to some people, it might sound like a contradiction or a dichotomy, but to be like, no, and at the same time, you need to be focused on your clients, on the serving part rather than on you. So what
Yes,
is the
it is a
secret?
different.
Hey, thanks for tuning into this episode. Hope you're getting value out of it. For your information, this episode has been sponsored by the Happiness 101 program. Are you a change maker, coach, trainer, or healer? Are chains of fear holding you back from making the impact and income you desire? Using a unique combination of positive psychology and the spiritual wisdom of our most effective change makers, the Happiness 101 program helps you break through your limiting beliefs and manifest the abundance and success you desire with fun and ease. Interested? Book a free Happiness 101 exploration call with me, your happiness expert, Samia Bano. Just use my online calendar link in the show notes. Now, back to the show.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance, but when you're confident in your ability, then you can spend that time focusing on your clients,
Yeah.
because that's already a given. You don't need to prove yourself, but you do need to be, on my website, which is expertauthoritycoach.com. On every page on my website, at the very bottom is a little mantra. It's a little phrase, and it just reminds people. And it's basically this. It says, remember this. If you're not seen and heard, you're not hired.
Mm.
And it's a very true statement that you have to be seen and heard. Now, if you're confident in your ability, and again, there is no ego and there's no arrogance in this. It's just saying, you know what? I'm really good at what I do. Whatever it is that you do. If you're a therapist, if you're a psychologist, if you're a mechanic, if you're a baker, if you're a coach, if you're able to say, you know what, I'm really good at what I do, and that allows me to help so many people in so many ways transform their lives or make their life better, then you're magnetically attracting the people that you want to, instead of being desperate, right? And we all know what desperation feels like when we see it. So we want to come from the confident place, but also we want to make sure that people feel that they can trust us. And
Mm.
that's what that confidence does. And being seen and heard, that means on social media, that means writing those blogs, doing those videos, creating your own podcast, or being a guest on podcasts. That is telling the world, hey, here I am. This is what I do. And if you connect with it, if you resonate with it, then hopefully you'll act on it. But hopefully it'll make an imprint, and it'll change your perspective a little bit and make you want to do more.
Yeah. That is so, so true. And I love that. Thank you for sharing that remember this, if you're not seen and heard, then you're not hired.
You're not hired. Nobody's
Oh
going to
gosh.
find you in the basement. Nobody's going to go, oh, they're going to drive down your street and park in front of your house and walk up to your door and knock on it and say, I think there's somebody in here that can really help me, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to do that. You have to tell them, you have to tell people what it is that you do and how you do it. You know,
Yeah.
my style is very different. It's so funny because it says on the screen here, it says make change fun and easy.
Yeah.
My whole teaching vibe and coaching vibe is to keep things simple, easy, and fun for my
Mm.
clients.
Yeah.
Because my clients, there's a wide variety. I have one in Dubai. I have one I have many in America, in the US, here in Australia, but we all have different skill levels. And so I keep things very simple, easy, and fun because then you'll do the work that we need to do together because it's going to be fun. And when it's fun, it's also something that it's easy to remember. It's easy to embody that. If it's complicated and technical and you got to jump through a bunch of hoops and you have to get another degree in order to understand it, you're not going to want to do it,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
we want to do the things and we want to make sure we do the things that you enjoy because
Yeah.
that's when your energy comes through and that's when your passion comes through.
Yes. So I imagine that you help people sort of figure out what, I mean, I'm sure there's core principles that we all need to sort of apply in the work that we do to be effective with our branding and so forth. But at the same time, sometimes the more specific aspects of application, like you have to really look at, well, what are my strengths? Like I was, uh,
Hmm.
like just thinking back to my own journey since I started coaching training, I tried so many different methods, let's say, of promoting myself, getting myself to be seen and heard. And finally, I sort of like really settled into like a couple of things, podcasting being one of them, because I was like, this is just a really good fit for my personality, I mean, I just enjoy it so much, and I just
Yeah.
find it so fun and easy to do.
There you go.
So
Yeah. So
it's
you'll do it. So you'll
yes,
do it and you'll be
exactly.
consistent. Yes.
Yes, that's the thing. I've been able to keep at it. I've now been podcasting for over 10 years. Actually, I had a different show. This is my second show. And even with the second show, it's like, I think we're in our fourth season or something like that. And it's just been easy to keep it going because I just have so much fun doing it.
Yeah. And so you found, now I have clients that if I said to them, we're going to create a podcast and you're going to be the host of it. And this is what and I do that. I do that for clients. I help them create their own podcast. They would look at me like I was crazy and it's too much for them. It's way too
Yeah.
much for them. So for those clients, I would point them more in the direction of being a guest on podcasts to talk about their expertise, right? To talk about their expert authority. And there's ways that we go about doing that. But it's all about the personality and the
Yeah.
person. So whereas some people would be like yourself, a natural for having your own podcast, which is it's a great tool. It's a great marketing tool. It helps you in so many ways. It helps your SEO. It helps you in your speaking abilities. It helps in your AEO, your Ask Engine Optimization. That means showing up in ChatGPT and Claude and Grok and all those other ones. But there's other formats and other platforms that people who would be a little shy or who may not have the skill set to host their own show, we can work with them in that way, in a different
Yeah.
way, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not even always about shyness. It can just be like, for example, I tried writing a blog for a while, and it like obviously I know shyness with writing a blog, but what I found for myself was that when and you know, I'd always receive feedback as a student that I was a very good writer. I always got A's on all my written work and in my creative writing classes and so forth. So I had this in my head, oh, that I have the skill that I'm good at, that is writing. And so maybe that's why I thought maybe I should try writing um, a blog. But the thing was that whenever I'm writing, it just taps into a different part of my brain that is kind of a perfectionist. It's like I can spend hours editing and re-editing just a small little paragraph. And so then it becomes like this own load of work that I have to,
Yeah.
do. And 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 it just became like the sense of not fun and easy anymore, like especially when I had to produce a blog consistently every week. So I had been trying to release multiple little things, but even like short writing, it was taking me so long to do just because of my crazy perfectionist coming out. And so it was just too much, like it was getting too much. So I had to like give up on that at some point and be like, no, and that's the beautiful thing about, doing podcasting is that because we're just having a live chat, even if I say something not perfectly, it's totally fine. It's just,
Yeah.
I'm having a conversation and I'm able to let the imperfections in my speech go.
Well, you're enjoying it and you're
Yeah.
having fun with it. And I'm the same way. I'm not if I sit down in front of a blank Word doc, I'm like, I want to, vomit a little bit. I'm like, oh, that doesn't make me feel good. But I have 5 best-selling books. I have 7 books altogether published. Most of them self-published. And I'm not a writer. When I tell people I'm not a writer, they go, "But you have all these books." And the last book just came out just a couple weeks ago, The Expert Authority Code. And this is a
Yeah.
thick book. But I'm not a writer. I'm a talker. I'm a speaker like you. And so the beautiful thing about today's technology is there's software that you can take. So I take all my video content from my webinars, my workshops, my speaking engagements, my podcast episodes, my master classes. I do a lot of master classes and I have a mastermind as well for women in business. And I take that content because it's all my teachings. It's my tips for, social media, my strategies for branding, my little secret things that you can do to get more exposure, right? I take those things that I speak on video and I can put them into a format through AI that is an enjoyable read. And then I just
Yeah.
create chapters in a book and I
Yeah.
add up all those chapters and then I create a book. So I've done The Expert Authority Code is my latest book. The book before that had nothing to do with my business, had nothing to do with coaching. It was a passion project called The Interview with a Narcissist
Oh.
because I've met many narcissists and I did it in a day. And it was basically
Mhm.
taking video content from interviews that
Yeah.
I've done and compiling it into a really cool book and an audio book that is available now on Amazon. And the audiobook is great because it's not my voice, because I'm not the narcissist, but it's this male British, you know, lacks empathy, has no connection to the heart space at all, and is very, suave. And so I'm able to create
Yeah.
not by writing on a Word doc, but by
Yeah.
speaking. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you are basically highlighting for us is that there's many ways to get something
Yes.
done. And so you just tap into your strength, uh, especially now with AI, you have like all these even I mean it's even easier now to do it. Actually, when I published my book, I only published one. I did a similar strategy where I took a lot of the content from my first podcast, my first show. In that one, I didn't used to have guests. It was basically just me sharing what I wanted to share
Yeah.
with my audience. And so I actually took a lot of the content from my uh, podcast archives and then turned that into chapters in my book. And in that case, I had to actually work with somebody a little bit to help me with transcribing the audios into sort of like written transcription, and then we sort of did some editing to smooth out the writing. Um, and the basically the book editor helped with that, right? And so it's like I had very minimal um, labor actually that I needed to put in. And voila, like I think I put in maybe 2 weeks of solid work. And then everything else was done by my editor and, the publishers, like basically took over the process of actually cleaning everything in,
Yeah.
and, just making it all nice and flowy.
Well, and I've got a tool. I've got a tool for you that I'll give you the link to, but it's called
Mm,
Video to Blog,
mm,
and
mm.
that particular software, it'll take you upload your video or your audio files, and it will turn it into you give it some guidance. You say,
Yeah,
I want it to be in this kind of tone, if it's informal or if it's um, uh, casual, that type of thing. And it'll take, instead of giving you a transcript, because a transcript would be a bit boring to read just by itself, but it takes it and it turns it into an article or into a
yes,
chapter.
yeah,
And it's fantastic because it's everything that you've said, but it formats it in a way that is an enjoyable read. And
yeah.
that's how I've done so many books. That's how I've published so many of my books.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. So, wow. I feel like maybe this is a sign we should talk a little bit about AI
Yeah. I
because
love AI.
it's obviously a complete paradigm shifting, game changing thing. And I mean, it was sort of like coming, growing in the background, and most people like we weren't even aware of it. Um, but now it's like suddenly everywhere, and it's um, it's just it can feel a little bit overwhelming. Like for me, I have had um, because there's just so much that you can do with it. There's
Yeah.
just so much, so much, so much. And it's like, um, and then there's all of this danger with, getting too dependent on AI and um, losing your authentic voice and your authenticity um, because you end up relying too much on the AI.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit more about what you've been experiencing with it and how you're teaching your clients to use it in the most effective ways to
Yeah.
be an authority.
What I tend to remind people, and I say this to my clients and I say this to groups when I'm doing public speaking as well, is that you want to use AI, and the most popular one is ChatGPT, obviously, but
Mm,
you want to use those type of that type of software to enhance who
mm,
you are, but not replace.
yeah.
Every second there is a new book that's being put out on Amazon that's completely written by AI or a
Yeah.
chat GPT. And it lacks that authentic imprint of a human being.
Yeah.
But people figure that, oh, I can pump out, 10 books this month. And so that's the danger, is that we are allowing it to replace us
Mm,
and just say, okay, for my bio that let's say my bio that I have on my website and I put it on my social media, I'm just going to let ChatGPT or some other AI program write it. I again always encourage people, you can use it to enhance. So you can say, what I've done is I've put in all my information. I said, this is what I've done. This is, the places that I've worked, the awards that I've won, whatever. And I'll put it into ChatGPT and I will direct it. It's all about your prompts, right?
Right.
It's all about how you direct. So it's like you're Steven Spielberg and you're
Yeah.
telling an actor, this is how I want you to behave, right? This is how I
Yeah.
want you to feel on the set. And so that's the same thing with your AI. And
Mhm.
always say, the more you work with it, the more it's going to get to know how you speak, but feed it your real work. So feed it
Yeah.
your real speeches or your real content, the stuff that you have already written, so it gets a feel for how you talk,
Yeah.
right? And how you converse. But
Yeah.
enhancing is way more important than replacing.
Yeah.
Um, there are tools that you can use to create, video content, graphic design. I use
Yeah.
a lot of different programs for graphic design because I'm not a designer. I'm not an artist, right? I'm not an illustrator, but
Yeah.
it can really be quite amazing when you say, this is what I want to promote. This is the idea that I have. And then it can come up with some different, you know, ideas for you. I know with the book cover that I had, the expert authority code, I wanted it to be like the Da Vinci Code, and I
Uh,
wanted to have a style like that. And I all I did is I used several different AI programs, but when I finally came up with this
mhm.
one,
Yeah.
it's exactly like the Da Vinci Code, the feel and the
Yeah.
vibe of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this was from I think this was from ChatGPT, who came up with the basic understanding and
Mhm.
idea of it. And I was like, that's perfect. That's exactly
Yeah.
what I wanted.
Yeah.
So we want to be able to direct it and help our flow for our business, not replace it.
Yes. And you make me also think about an experience I recently had working with AI. This was in a different context. I was actually doing a real estate deal, sale by owner, where I was the owner.
Hmm.
And so I went to AI and I was like, help me write out a contract for
Wow.
the
Right.
the sale. And thankfully, like I say thankfully, because I actually don't have a whole lot of experience selling real estate. So I was actually working with my mentor who has over 30 years of experience as a realtor, selling, buying, etc. And so I sat with her and, we input, like I put in the initial prompts and sure enough, ChatGPT spits out a very nice form. And then, m like my mentor, who's the actual expert with real estate, she was like, you know what we're missing here is the property I was trying to sell was actually to the current tenant in the apartment. So uh, she was like, we have to make sure we have a clause or some clauses to make the transition from the tenant being the tenant to being the new owner. And so then we input that information in the AI system and we're like, oh, the buyer is the current tenant of the property. What clauses do we add um, if that is the case? And so sure enough, then it was able to give us some really important clauses to add to the contract. But you see, it's like if my mentor
It had
hadn't
to be a
been there,
human. Yeah. It had to
you
be the
know,
human to think of that. Yeah.
yes. And it had to be a human who knew what they were doing and what was needed. Like I wouldn't have thought of that. I
Yeah.
didn't think of that. So it took an actual expert
Yeah.
knowing what to even ask for so that the AI could then give us what we really needed.
Yeah. And realize too that AI, it will lie to you. It can lie to you. And it because
Yeah.
and also the idea with, especially with Chat GPT, it wants to please you. You
Mm.
know, it's like, I don't know, it's like that new boyfriend or girlfriend, and they want to please you, so they're going to say, "Yeah, you're amazing, and that's a brilliant idea," and all that. So you always want to check it a little bit, and you want to make sure, especially if it's something that's going to be a legal document, right, or something
Yeah.
that's that important, is to double check it, make sure you dot all your I's and cross all your T's, and make sure that it is the correct thing. But it is a great starting point for you,
Yeah.
for so many things, you know, things that you wouldn't, normally think of.
Yeah.
It can't, and you can ask it. You can say, "What are some other things that are not here, but I might want to consider adding, or I
Mhm.
might want to consider," and then it'll give you quite a bit. But it's all in the prompt. It's all in
Yeah.
how you prompt it. Yeah.
Yeah. You also made me think about a conversation I was recently having with one of my nieces and one of my nephews. They are just about 12 going on to 13 years old. And of course, they've been born and raised here in America. So even as little kids, they were like, I mean, they grew up being fluent with technology, the iPad, the iPhone, and the internet, and this and that. And now here's AI, and they have taken to it so quickly, so quickly. And I was having a conversation with them, and actually, we were like having this moment that of like, well, they were like, look, AI knows everything. AI is way smarter than all the humans. And I was like, well, in some ways that is true, but let's think about what makes us special as humans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they were like ready to just uh, like follow AI, whatever it tells them to do. And at some point, my niece, she was like, I always make sure to say please and thank you to the AI so that it'll be nice to me.
Right.
Because she was like, I'm preparing for she was saying that from the perspective of preparing for the day when AI takes over everything.
Oh, so she makes sure that she's in good standing with it.
Yes.
Yes. I hope it doesn't. I mean, we we need the human element and connection, because we have real memories. We have real experiences that the AI doesn't have. Its AI is very intelligent, and it's amazing. Every day it gets better and better and better, but it does not replace the human experience, because only myself has the experience of growing up in Los Angeles I was born in 64. So, the 60s and the early 70s, and what it was like, and the feeling of going to school and not fitting in,
Mm.
and that awkward, all of that tween, that stage when you get pimples, and, AI, ChatGPT doesn't get acne, right? But as a young person whose hormonal changes are happening and you're getting older, that happens to you, or just feeling like you don't fit in, right? I went to a school too, and my first year in junior high, I went to a private school because my dad taught this at the school, and so I got a scholarship. And I tell you, they were all extremely wealthy people
Mm.
that sent their kids there. We're talking all the movie stars, all the actor, all the musicians. Kids were getting dropped off in limousines and Rolls Royces, and I came from a very poor background, so that experience and feeling so awkward, that's only a human experience. ChatGPT can't express that.
Mhm.
Or it can maybe say bits and pieces of it, but not the feeling of what it was like
Mm,
in dreading Mondays. The
yeah.
dreaded Mondays. So that's a human experience, and that's what we want to
Yeah.
hold on to.
And why is that so important? Because I mean, as my niece and nephew were attempting to argue, it's like um i- like any question that you ask the AI, like even if it's a deep philosophical question, these days AI will spit out answers for you that seem very wise, that seem very deep. It has read every single book out
Hmm.
there to draw from, in coming up with that kind of answer. And so it's sort of like really, um, why does it, I mean, so why would anyone still want to hear from me versus hear from just ask the AI, even if what they're seeking is advice on some deep personal matter, why would they want to come to me, a human, when they can just ask AI and potentially get even the wisdom of all the best books in the world and so forth?
Well, it depends on, we are the original ChatGPTs. We are the original AIs. It's just been taught out of us. And we can call it intuition. We've been focused on regurgitating facts and figures.
Mm,
That's how we go to school, right? You have to memorize your math and your arithmetic and all of that, and just regurgitating facts and figures. But we are the original Chat GPT, and all of these different concepts and ideas and inventions, all of that, for however long we've been here on the planet, it's all come from us, right? Now we can use, again, ChatGPT as an extension, as a tool to create more, but it still relies on that human heart experience, what someone has gone through. I remember many years ago when I was working at the radio station in Los Angeles, we were in a fund drive and we were playing clips from Fannie Lou Hamer, who, if folks aren't familiar, they should look it up. This is a real person. This is not a ChatGPT person. This is a real one. And she was around during the civil rights movement. And she talks about the experience of being Black in
mm,
America at a time when racism was just off the charts, and just going on a bus to fight for the right to be able to vote, right?
mm,
To register to vote. And she got pulled off this bus by the police, or the local sheriffs in this county, and taken to the jail, and was beaten, to the inch of her life. I mean, just
mm,
the horrific experience. But she, in this recording, this audio recording, she's talking about that experience and what happened to her. And emotionally, you go along with her in that journey and you feel what it was like. I mean, obviously not exactly what it was like, but you understand what she went through and how scary, how traumatic that must have been, right? And a lot of people went through that. A lot of people went through that.
yeah.
And so that's an experience that only a human can recount
Mm,
and tell. And I'll tell you, when I was listening to that audio, and we stopped it, it took me a while to come back onto the microphone and talk. I was so moved. I was crying. I was crying because I can't believe how human beings treat each other. But I also can't believe how amazing the human heart is and how
mm,
strong the spirit of humans are. How she
yeah.
could go through all of that and then still keep continuing that fight for justice. So
Yeah.
that's something that we can't replace. We
Yeah.
can't replace that with AI.
Yeah. And I mean, there is something, even like if you can have ChatGPT spit out some very moving story to you or whatever information, even supposed to be wisdom, whatever. Um, it it's still on its own not enough. I think in terms of like if I'm someone who really needs help, um, because I mean like a lot of well the work that I do as a happiness expert, it's helping people take control of their mental emotional wellness. And um it's like you can actually get dangerously caught up with like AI chatbots, chatting with them and developing a relationship with the chatbot, thinking that it understands you, thinking that it cares about you. Um,
It
but it's
doesn't care
not
about you.
reality. It's not reality. It's actually so it's
Yeah.
actually dangerous that if you it's so easy to lose that perspective that it's not real. Whatever the AI is doing, however it is responding, it's not really real, and so it actually and it can have a really harmful impact on our mental health. And it can actually do the opposite of what we wanted it to do. We wanted it to help us feel better. We wanted it to help us empower ourselves to take control of our happiness and stuff, but it can actually end up severely compromising that
Yeah.
because if you lose perspective on what's really real, I mean, that's a huge problem. Plus, there's just that aspect of needing the human touch. Like you need to be hugged and you need someone to give you a little kiss to show you that, love and affection. And there's nothing the AI can do to replace that.
No, it's a
So we'll
tool.
always
Yeah.
need each other, and um it's just again, if you don't already have expertise in some in an area, you can't even evaluate if what the AI is telling you is actually accurate. Because like you were saying, Christine, the AI can and does lie to you. I mean, it's
Hmm.
programmed to keep you engaged. It's programmed to keep you um, there with it. And so it will say and do whatever it thinks it needs to keep you there with it and engaging with it, right? And so if you don't even know what you don't like, you need to know enough about the subject that you're trying to use it to help you with to be able to
Yes.
evaluate when it's giving you wrong, false information, you know?
Yes. You need to always remember that it's a tool to use. But it's not better than you. It's a tool to use. It's like a calculator. I use a calculator when I need to figure out some things. Now, can I figure them out on a piece of paper? And yeah, I can probably do that. But the calculator is a tool for me to use. Now, I don't sit there and live my life through that calculator. I use it for specific purpose. And so
Yeah.
that's what we want to do as well, is
Yes.
use it for that specific purpose and realize that AI in general is all over the place. So
Yeah.
it's what holds you. It's the algorithm that holds you in TikTok for 4 hours. All of a sudden
Mhm.
you're like, oh my God, I need to get sleep. You've been on social media for so long.
Yes.
That is definitely an AI algorithm, and that's their whole purpose, is to keep you on the platform for
Yeah.
as long as possible, right?
Yeah.
So I like to tap into AI. I'll tap into AI, but I also to give myself breaks from electronics in general,
Yeah.
from the computer, from my phone, all of that. I like to disengage
Yeah.
quite often because
Mhm.
what's important is not on the screen. What's
Yeah.
important is in your home or in your community. That's what's really
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. So, in the context of, being the expert authorities in whatever field of expertise that we have in this era where so many people are, oh, we can just ask AI. How is there? So one thing I'm hearing from you is like maybe one thing we can do is just keep reminding our people about why people are actually important and the actual role of the AI that is the best way to use AI, that is to use it as a tool. Is there anything else that we can do to help people continue to maintain perspective on the fact that, like they still need us, fellow human beings, to help them and guide them and act as the expert authorities in their lives on various subjects.
Yeah, because it's one thing to be fed like here's a strategy, here's a plan, here, do this, do that. It's a different thing when you have like myself, I'm highly interactive with my clients where I sit down with them and create, let's say, their media kit, or if it's a podcast that they want to create, right? And we actually work together. So it's a working, viable partnership that we do and when we're working together. But that human element is also being able to try different things and to see what looks good, when even just designing a media kit or working on their podcast, we have that back and forth conversation where I can say, um, okay, this looks good or this sounds good, but how about what if we did this? What if we change things up and do this? Does this feel better? That's something that's very customized, and
Yeah,
that's something that the ChatGPT is not, or AI in general isn't able to do yet. That said, they might be working on that, as we speak. But even like if you just take, for example, a lot of people use AI for authors will use AI to create their audiobooks, and it's a digital voice, and it's getting very good. It's
yeah,
actually in the beginning phases it was horrible, but it's getting better, but it still does not have that human imprint where it's those breaths, those in betweens, the intention when you're reading something that is, especially if it's something that happened to you,
yeah,
you can feel it, right? And that's something that's not translatable so much when it comes to AI. So I think the more that we make ourselves present and the more we say, I cannot be replaced by this AI, but here's why I can't be replaced in our job as a coach or as a consultant, I think that's really important. For me, it's about being there to customize the journey for them and to
yeah,
say, okay, this feels good, but let's try this. What do you think about that? And asking their opinion. That's something that ChatGPT doesn't do yet.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Oh gosh. Um, I know we're going to be running out of time really soon. So,
Yeah, that's all right.
other than AI, is there anything else that you would love to share with our audience? One of the things that I had meant to ask you about actually was you one of the talks that you do is branding so irresistible even your ex will want to follow you, which is
Yes.
based on one of your best-selling books. And we got so caught up with talking about all the AI stuff. But in the few minutes that we have, if you could maybe tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So that particular book, The Social Media and Branding Survival Guide, um, That is a very fun read, and that's why the subtitle is what it is, right? The idea is to be so magnificent and so much in your genius that even your ex is going to want to follow you to see what you're up to because they're like, "Oh my gosh, why is this person so successful now? they're very happy now." Wow. Uh, and it's tapping into your zone of genius. It's tapping into what lights you up. And when it comes to branding for your business, it's not about your font that you're using or the colors or your logo. It's about your energy. It's
Mm,
about your imprint. It's about when you walk into a room, what kind of energy are you bringing in? Are you like, do you want to shrink and you don't want anybody to look at you? Do you come in with confidence, no arrogance or ego, but with
yeah.
confidence? Um, do you have that electrical charge that
Mm,
people are magnetized to? So it's really paying attention to those things. And that's what I love doing when I work with clients is saying, let's tap into the energy that you're bringing,
yeah.
on your social media, on your posts that you're doing, the things that you're creating, and also absolutely on your website. That's one of my favorite things is to jump into people's websites and to go, this is not at all who I'm sitting in front of and discovering, right? So how do we get this person who I love, who
Mm,
has all this great energy? Let's get that person onto the website so that people can resonate with that person,
yeah.
not this stale version of what you think people should be looking at. So it's really about your energy. It's really about what you bring to the table. And if you need help on that, then that's something I can work with people on as well. If you have imposter syndrome, if you lack that confidence, but you've done all the work already, that's something that I love working with people and bringing out the best of themselves.
Yeah. Okay, one more question.
Yes, yes.
Um, like on this theme of the energy being the most important thing, can you clarify? Because like what that really is all about. Because let's say if I am a quieter, shyer person, um, like I remember working with a coach, a marketing coach, and um, I mean, actually, over the years, I will say I have become a lot more outgoing and a lot more, actually, even more cheerful and more more extrovert. No, not
Hmm.
more extrovert, but like happy. Like my happiness is more visible and more like people feel it more strongly because I have been growing more and more happy and not just more happy, but like joyful in life, and so
Yeah.
people who knew me even 10 years ago, and I was already pretty happy then, and versus people who meet me now, like they can, for example, just a few months ago, I went to visit a cousin for a wedding after many years, and she was the one who giving me this feedback. She was like, you're way happier than like not that I wasn't happy before, but like my energy is more bubbly, more light, more joyful than
Yeah.
it even used to be. And so like I have changed and but to the extent that, I used to be a more quiet, calm, sort of serious person. And this was like the coach I'm thinking about that I was working with. This was like many years ago when I used to have that quieter energy. And they were like, Samia, come on, like you have to speak more loudly and you have to, like they were trying to coach me into being more energetic. And I mean, I tried to take that coaching and sort of run with it. But I'll tell you, like, it was kind of hard and like it didn't
It's not
always
your
like,
person. Yeah, that's not your person. If that's not
you
your
know.
personality, um, it depends on the business that you're in, as well. So like, if someone is very mild-mannered and very soft-spoken and reserved in a bit, but they're really good at what they do. And let's say I don't know, they're a surgeon, right? I want that. I don't need a super exciting, hey, how you doing, everybody? I don't need that. I want that surgeon to be very focused on what they're doing. But it depends on the profession. If you're a life coach, right?
Which I was. All right.
Yeah. So if you're a life coach, you're asking people to trust you and you're almost, it's almost that you're living by example. And so you want to be able to say, this is how my life is. And I love aspects of it so much. And these things are working that I want to share that with you so that you can also achieve those things.
Yeah.
And so you do need to have a bit of that magnetism for people to want to be drawn to you, but you also want to be authentic. And that's the golden ticket right now.
Yeah.
Right now, people who are real, truthful, and authentic are going to be sought after way more than the Kardashian, perfect, everything, I'm sitting here in my jet, all that type of thing. That's going the side, by the wayside, because we've been lied to so many times by so many people, and we just want truth. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So if you are more reserved and more quiet, that's okay. That's fine. Just make sure that you're still out there communicating what you can offer people. That's really important.
Yeah.
And your tribe will be attracted. The people that are meant for you will be attracted to you.
Yeah. And I think I also realized that the energy, I mean, yes, you want to be like on a high vibration, but that doesn't always look the same. I mean, it doesn't have to look just one way. It doesn't always have to be a loud voice and a very active body. It can be just a very like um love is an extremely high vibration, if not the highest vibration. And love can be gentle, love can be like, just snuggly and cuddly and all kinds of different things, so you can be very high vibration and express it in different ways.
Yes. And there's a woman, I think she's in India, Amma. She's known as she basically, people come from all over the world just to get a hug.
Oh,
Just to get a hug. And that's all she does. She's not a life coach. She doesn't tell them, here's my course, here's my books or anything. She literally just gives them a hug. And for whatever reason, they feel amazing from it. And it's, people line up for days to receive a hug from Amma. And so here's somebody that's able to communicate without saying a word, right?
yeah.
And it's just through her life force, through her energy, that she's able to put that out there. And I think we all have our own unique type of energy and our own unique expertise. But the idea is don't hide it anymore. Okay?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Get out there. Let people know. Let people know.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much for that, Christine. And I think I'm gonna have to resist asking you any more questions because we need to wrap up for today. But do you have any last words?
Just if people are interested, if you feel the pull, if you feel that you'd like to learn more about the work that I do, or if you want to have a free discovery call with me where I sit down with you and you tell me what you're doing and what you'd like to do, and I'll let you know the quickest way that I think that you can get there. You can just go to expertauthoritycoach.com and book a free call with me, and we'll take it from there and see where we can take your business and your passions as well.
Oh, thank you so much. It's such a generous gift, Christine. And we will be sure to drop Christine's links in the show notes, including the website that she mentioned. So you can go connect with her, get that help and support that you need whenever you're ready for it. And until we connect next time, I wish you lots and lots of peace and joy.
Yes.